Welcome back. Today we're going to be talking about MAC addresses. It's another important building block of networking. So let's get started. A MAC address, or it's also called the Media Access Control address, is a unique identifier that every device has. Think of it like the device's fingerprint or like the permanent home address. MAC addresses help switches send the right data to the right device. Like just like your house has a unique address so that the mailman knows where to send the data or your mail, every device has its own MAC address so that the network knows exactly where to send the data, like making sure your laptop gets the internet connection and not the phone. Now here's what a typical MAC address looks like. It's made up of 6 pairs of numbers and letters. Now the IEEE, the Institute of Electrical and Electronics Engineers, assign the MAC addresses to manufacturers for them to use when building their devices or when they're naming their devices. Now there are two parts to the MAC address. So there's the first three pairs of the MAC address identify the manufacturer, while the last three pairs are just unique to the device. This means that two devices can have the MAC address that have the first three pairs as the same, which means that the manufacturer for both of those devices is the same. Now, there's also a possibility that two devices can have the first three pairs to be different, but can have a similar or the same last three pairs. Now, this would mean that, of course, that these two devices are made by two different manufacturers. But even though that both devices have the same last three pairs, it only signifies the uniqueness of the addresses within the manufacturer's range. It does not have any other attributes. That's it. Now, there's also another thing we call IP addresses. Now, if you want a better understanding of what an IP address is, check out this video. So, now if you know what an IP address is, well, this will help. While an IP address is more like a temporary phone number that like you can change as you need, whereas a MAC address is permanent and tied directly to the physical hardware of your device. It's like the device's fingerprint. It's one of a kind, it's unchangeable. Now, routers use IP addresses to communicate, while switches are used by MAC address, or MAC addresses are used by switches. They both serve the same purpose of acting like addresses to where the data must be sent. For now, understand that MAC addresses are used when sending data between hosts in the same network, while IP addresses, in most cases, not all, are used when sending data between devices on different networks. Of course, it's a little more technical than that, and why each address is used differently. It's a little more technical. For that, you'll need to understand the OSI model, which is our next video. So remember, while an IP address might change, your MAC address stays the same for your device, just like your fingerprint. If you want to learn more about how devices work and communicate on a network, check out these two videos. These will help you understand the networking basics and understand what a router does and what a switch does. I hope that helps.